Hello, welcome, Miss Jenny, to our
Hi.
the very first podcast of Golden Nuggets. I got really good response, and some of my friends insisted that I do a podcast.
Yes.
And the first person I could think of was you. So
Oh,
I'm
thank
really
you.
grateful that you took the time and the opportunity with me to share
Mhm.
your thoughts and your experience in raising kids with
Yeah.
childcare and preschool and with everything
Mhm.
else that you do. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and make a brief introduction to our listeners. um, we have Miss Jenny Gonzalez today on our podcast. Jenny has been working with kids since she was in high school, and she knew very early on in her life that that's the path that she wants to go in, like be in teaching and helping kids, and she pick that as a career. And she has been graduated with liberal studies in child development, with multiple subjects, and currently Miss Jenny is pursuing her master's in child development. And I have had the opportunity to send my daughter, Nandini, who's 5,
Yeah.
to learn some good things from Miss Jenny. So she's been very fortunate. And the year she was there at the school, at the preschool, that Little Sunshine, where Miss Jenny was
Mhm.
teaching, Nandini had a great time, and she still misses even in kindergarten. So thank you, Miss Jenny, again.
Yeah.
Yes, and so let's go ahead and talk. I have laid out few things that I'd like to share with our viewers and our listeners.
Mhm.
Um, as you've seen that, what do you think um, are some of the key things that you have seen as you've been so much involved with children early on in your life, that the parents can do, when they have, right from the beginning, right from when they are
Yeah.
newborn, and I
Mhm.
want to discuss more on that, because the whole idea of the podcast is, and my videos is focusing on child development early on,
Mhm.
because I, as a mother, I do see the results. I mean, and
Mhm.
I didn't do it. It was an unintentional thing that I started doing, was
Yeah.
talking to Aviraj when I he was still in my womb. I
Mhm.
was just
Yeah.
talking, and I couldn't believe how his brain has been developing and
Develop.
continues to do
Mhm.
that. And I did the
Mhm.
same thing with Nandini, but I did more with Aviraj. Um,
Mhm.
but I want to get your experience and share your thoughts.
Yeah. So I don't have kids. But like I said, I've always been around kids. I've always been surrounded with kids, seen them grow, and I've studied it. So some of the things I think for children, like you said, like you started talking to them like at a very young age. And that's super, super important. I feel like kids, that's how they begin to develop language, by you talking to them, by you expressing that with them. So I think language, of course, and I also think exposing them to different like materials. Like I tell my sister-in-law, she has a newborn right now too. I always tell her like, don't be afraid to give him things, give him activities, give him sensory stuff, like sensory activities. Um, Sensory is really good for like cognitive growth, for fine motor skill growth, like all of that. And I feel like sometimes parents think like since they're babies, they want to protect them and keep them like away from that stuff, away from nature, away from bugs, away from that kind of thing. But kids are naturally curious. Kids are born curious and they want to discover. And like when they're toddlers, they're already getting into cabinets, opening doors, like wanting to see what they can do. So I think just nurturing that through like giving them natural toys to play with and then see what they can do with the stick and what they can do with the rock, and they start learning to stack them, or they start learning to like maybe rocks don't balance on each other, they'll fall off, like they'll start learning that stuff and those patterns. So I think definitely exposing them from a very young age and talking to them, they understand more than we think they understand. As
Right.
like infants, they understand a lot more than we think they do. So I think just talking to them, like you would talk to like any child. You don't just use, I would say, like, use almost like adult language with them.
That's what
They'll
I want to hear
understand
from
it. They
you.
do understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
what I.
I think that.
Yes, yes, you nailed it. I mean, because that's really what I did. I just spoke with Aviraj. I was working at a bank at the time, and I have
Mhm.
to go for a meeting. I would just like, all right, we're driving. We're going for a meeting.
Yeah.
We're gonna go meet a client, and do you want to eat something on the way?
Yeah.
Let's grab something. And he loved apples. I mean, I ate so
Yeah.
many apples, and I was expecting him. Oh yeah, apples, apples all the way. And so I was like, "Oh, you want to grab a snack, or have something to
Yeah.
drink?" And I just actually just spoke with him as if he's a grown-up person, not
Yeah.
knowing that. Oh my God, what am I
Yeah.
going to get? Great.
And
So
did you see that he started to like develop like academic like language almost like early on, like he started to use bigger words or started
yes,
to like speak more. Yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
I that makes a big difference.
Yeah, he is often addressed by our friends as an old soul. He's a lot older
Yeah.
than his age, and he fell his reading. He's in third grade, but
Mhm.
I met his teacher last week, and she said
Yeah.
he's at a fifth grade reading level.
Yeah. Mhm.
And one of the things that I do, if we are on a long drive, give them a break from their gadgets. I'll ask them, all right, I play, make it like a game. Who's gonna spell the
Mhm.
word gadget? Who's gonna
Yeah.
spell the word flower? And they take
Mhm.
turns, and they just make it a game. And then what I do is I do mental math. All right, who's gonna do the
Mhm.
addition, subtraction?
Yeah.
Kind of keep them. And how
Like
can you find me
thinking.
something in color, something in this color
Mhm.
red? How many things do you
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
So
And then with that, I also think like reading. Reading is super important. I think people, sometimes parents can think like they're not old enough to understand reading, or they won't understand what's being read to them. They like will lose focus, but there's books that are even like sensory driven. So there's like sensory books that you can, it literally will just say cow, and then the kid can touch like the fur, or it'll say like dinosaur and they can touch like the rigidness on the book. So those little things are just like the kids take it in. They're like little sponges. They soak in everything. They
that's
soak in all the information that you give them.
absolutely.
So
I believe it's like a
yeah.
plain canvas. It's like their
Mhm.
brains are like a SpongeBob. They
Yeah.
absorb so much so early
Absorb
on,
it
and the
all.
more we expose them, the more their brain is going to be stimulated because there's
Yes.
so much
Mhm.
space to
Yeah.
absorb. Yeah, that's right. And since you are in that profession longer than I have been, at what age do you think that the brain development? Well, it starts from birth, but it really
Yeah.
accelerates.
Oh, that's tough because I think there's different stages in which the brain will really accelerate. Like with language, it'll accelerate at a different time. With like,
Mm,
you know, that's tough. But I think some of the most important years, I'm gonna say, is like 3 through 5,
3 to 5.
because that's when they really start to like get their personality. They really start to like become like their own person.
Yeah,
Because I feel like through the ages of like infancy and like 2 years old, um, I feel like it's still very like parents are still there. Parents are still guiding them, guiding them, guiding them.
yeah,
But I think when it like come around 3 through 5, that's when they become a little bit more independent and they want a little bit like to do more and to experiment more and to be able to like they're like, I can do this. If you're like, oh, let me cut this for you. No, 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 I can do it. I want to do it. So
yeah.
like that's when they start to grow. So I think maybe 3 through 5, but really every age is like a different milestone. Every age is a
Right.
different like yeah, developmental stage. Because even after 5, when they become 6, when they become 7, like there's just so many. Every age and timeline is important, I think, and I can't really say when one is like the most important,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
yeah.
Right. And it's so funny you said that they want to do everything by themselves because when
Yeah.
Nandini was 3, yeah, Nandini was 2.5, 3. She wanted to cut everything, like cut
Mhm.
vegetables, cut fruits, and
Yeah.
I was very skeptical to give her knives or anything
Yeah.
sharp. So what I did, I found a way around it. I went on Amazon and I found kid-friendly knives, which
Yeah.
look
Mhm.
real and they work. But
Yeah.
it's for kids, so it doesn't have anything sharp. It'll still work, and
Yeah.
I can be relaxed
Mhm.
if she has that knife versus the real knife.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I'm actually glad I did because it
Yeah.
developed a lot of self confidence in her. So when I
Yeah.
I always try to kind of give them instead of toys, try to get them
Mhm.
something more close to the real gadget so they
Yeah.
have that experience so they see, oh,
Yeah.
this thing works, and
Uh-huh.
I can be relaxed as a parent
Yeah.
that, oh,
Yeah.
my child is going to be safe. I
Yeah.
have one of the videos, I don't know if you had a chance to see, but where I talk about giving them a mic. Very early on I gave Aviraj a
Mhm.
mic, very early. I think it was like it was one of his Christmas gifts. I think it was 2 or 3, I don't remember,
Yeah.
but I gave him an actual mic and
Yeah.
to just kind of play, get on the stage. I made like a little
Yeah.
platform. Okay, stand up, just make it fun.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because you know how you bought her the stuff to cut with and you bought her like little things to still help you with, but kid friendly.
Yeah.
And in LSP we do family style dining, which is
Oh,
where the kids kind of get together in one table and they're given like their food and they serve themselves and they pour their
okay.
own milk and the whole thing. And so when people would come into the classroom, they were like, "Oh, like, do we need to help them? Do we need to do this?" I'm like, "No, they can do it. They can do it themselves. They know how to pour it, and if they spill, that's okay." And
Yep.
it was really important for us to tell them, like, if you spill, that's okay. It's a learning experience. We're still learning how to pour, and we're still learning how to like add portions onto your plate because people like the kids would say, "Miss Jenny, they spilled the milk. They don't know how to pour it," and I'm like,
I know.
"Yeah, because we're still learning how to do that."
Learning.
And then
Yeah.
parents would come in and they were like, "I've never seen my kid pour milk before." And I'm like, they can do it. We just have to give them the opportunity to.
Yeah.
Like they can, they truly can. They can do a lot more than we think they can.
Yes. In fact, early in October, it was my birthday. Over a weekend, we had some
Yeah.
friends over, and Nandini was like, well, you can just give me all the ingredients, put on the video, whichever cake you want, put on the YouTube. I'll take care of
Yeah.
it. I'll make it
Oh, she's
because
so
she
sweet.
has that confidence. I can follow
Yeah.
the steps that the video chef
Mhm.
or baker, whoever is telling me, and I can do it. I
Yeah.
totally just give me the
Yeah.
ingredients where they are. So yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I'm all about um, mm, developing their brain early on because I think it really boosts their confidence. And
It
if they
really
are
does.
confident, what the confidence does is it reduces or eliminates anxiety.
Mhm.
If you're self
Yeah.
confident,
It
anxiety
really
goes
does.
away. So yeah, and that's one of the things that we see in a lot of kids these days. There's a lot of anxiety,
Anxious. Yeah.
and it's very challenging for working parents. I mean, everybody is. It's not
Yeah.
just challenge for a working parent. Any parent, I think, it's a journey that is. I think it's one of the hardest ones that we all go through, and we still enjoy it.
Mhm.
But I think the whole idea of me bringing this and sharing my experience and with others is to really, and of course, it can only be done with the support of teachers and support staff like you. And of
Thank
course, even in the previous preschools where Aviraj has been, the teachers have been amazing. I'm still in touch
you.
with
Mhm.
them, and I
Yeah.
enjoy, So it's
Yeah.
yeah. So thank you for that. But
Yeah.
let me tell you, um, so you've been in the education field, and what are some of the things that you notice that you want to convey to parents to change or maybe replace or adopt a new behavior or an attitude? In other words, what is a common pattern that you see and would like to help parents to really consider and maybe not just consider, even break that pattern, which is very
Yeah.
common and they don't know and nobody is doing it. I think parenting is it's like you have to be recognized. It's such a,
Mhm.
especially now, because after COVID life has changed, everything
Yeah,
has
it really
changed. You
has.
have to, and the whole thing of being our life is online pretty much. Everybody lives
Mhm.
online, right?
Yeah.
The kids are online, the parents are online, you work online, you submit your homework, assignments, everything online.
Mhm.
And you get into this thing where you still have a pattern that it's very important to break. So what is it that you notice
Yeah.
now? You can maybe share it before and after COVID, or however you feel is
Yeah.
right.
Well, I think something that I've noticed both like during COVID and after COVID, it's just parents like fear to let their kids do things on their own. And
Hmm.
I've talked to so many parents about the same thing, like so many parents about just giving your kids the opportunity to try things. Like
Right.
I understand that sometimes kids are so slow with putting on socks or putting on shoes, and sometimes you have to go. So you're like, I'll do it for you. It'll be faster. But giving kids the opportunity to try, like folding a blanket. Like in the classroom, we'd put out the cots and the kids would have their own blanket. And some of the kids wanted to fold their blankets. And a lot of the times I would just take them and then they would be like, no, I want to try. I want to
Yes.
fold it. And I'm like, okay, then you can go ahead and try it. And it'll take 20 minutes for them to stay on the floor, try to fold it, but they would end up doing it. And, the more that they did it, the more that they practiced, the easier it became.
It can.
And I always tell parents, just give them the opportunity to try. Like if they want to do laundry with you, don't say, oh, you're too little, you don't know how to do it, you
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah.
Give them the chance to at least put the clothes inside the laundry. They can do that. They can pick up and they can put inside,
Yes.
at least give them that opportunity and say, maybe the next step we're going to do is try to put soap, but not right now. Later, we're going to do that. But, or if they're folding a blanket and it becomes a ball and they're like, hey, I folded it, just saying like, good job. You did a great job. Okay, we're going to try again tomorrow and continue to practice that, continue to chip at it.
Yep.
I think it goes so far. Like letting kids try things. Like when they
Absolutely.
would come up to me and they say, "Can you zip up my jacket?" And I'm like, "I want you to try. You go like this," and I walk them through the steps, and I'll do it first, and then I'll unzip it, and I say, "Okay, I want you to try." And then I see them try, and if they really can't, I'm like, "Okay, you did a good job. I'll zip it up, and then say we'll try again tomorrow." So we just trying new things and allowing the kids to do things. They can do so much. But I think sometimes parents are like, they're too little, they don't know how, they can't, or they like underestimate what they can do. So I think I would really encourage parents to just give the kids a little bit more independence and let them try things.
Yeah.
Try, and it's trial and error. They're not going to get it the first time. Making a bed. If they try to make their bed, it's not going to look perfect, but don't go in and try to fix the bed and say, oh no, this is how you do it instead. Just let them do their work and say, you did a great job. And then tomorrow they do it again and then say, how about we do this with the blanket instead so it could be a little neater? And like you give suggestions, but let it be their work.
Yes. And
Yeah.
you've nailed it. And the example was perfect. Nandini makes her bed every morning.
Yeah.
So I started asking Abhiraj to do it, and he started doing
Mhm.
it. One day, 2 day, he'll forget. Third day, but he's kind of he's on in a rhythm now.
Yeah.
And she saw Abhiraj do it, and she's like, "Oh, I want to make my bed, but I want to make it
Yeah.
just like you, the way I do it." I said, "All right." So she went ahead, and I said, "Well, why don't we do this? We brush our teeth, brush your teeth, and do the restroom, and then you come and fix your bed, and then I'll dress you up." Okay. And now it's like, yeah, she did, and in fact, she did it perfect. I didn't have to do
Yeah.
anything. She just did it. I said,
Yeah.
"That's fantastic." And yeah, she's now she does it.
Mhm.
She's like, yeah, unless I have some other additional blankets for her or anything, but I make sure that I give her the opportunity. Okay,
Yeah.
that you have to do it. And even with
Mhm.
laundry, that's exactly what I've been doing, and it's just strange that you
Yeah.
bring it up. um
Yeah.
Aviraj, I have made him irresponsible enough that, okay, you have to pick up your laundry basket from your room and bring it to the laundry room and
Mhm.
do the inside out, fix them, and then
Yeah.
put them in the laundry. So what
Mhm.
I did, I got some washing pods, the detergent pods, because it's kind of
Oh
hard
yeah.
for him to put
Yeah.
the. So I was like, why don't you use the pods instead? So and
Mhm.
then do the quick wash. He knows what he's doing,
Yeah.
and yeah, even just that, and then he knows he needs to put the dryer, and then the next is easy.
Yeah.
But he's 8. I think I'm a little bit behind on him, but I think he helps me a lot on other things.
Yeah.
Like he'll help me organize my pantry, or help
Mhm.
me clean the fridge, whatever he can.
Yeah.
And it just, and I recognize them. That's
Or
fantastic.
like I saw one of the parents that I babysit for, I noticed that um we were talking about how their child has been asking for more like responsibilities and wanting to be a little bit more independent, and he was saying, "Well, I pour my milk at my school. Why can't I pour my milk here at home?"
True.
And the dad was like, "Well, like the jug's bigger, so it's harder for them to pour it at home." And I'm like, "Yeah, totally." So the dad ended up pouring it in like in a water bottle. And
Yeah.
so the kid can pour it every day his
Yes.
own milk, and that was how they ended up doing it. So just finding ways to like let the child do things on their own. It
Yes.
makes all the difference, and it
Yes.
helps their growth like nobody would imagine.
Confidence. I think it's all about the self
Yeah.
confidence, and yeah, give them a little autonomy that we give at our,
Mhm.
our subordinates. Give that autonomy to
Yeah.
them, the ones
Yeah.
that are. So yeah, that's what I this whole podcast and the videos are about. These are
Mhm.
our future leaders that we are
They really
raising.
are.
You know,
Yeah.
um, None of those Bezos or Musk's or Zuckerberg
Yeah.
grew up any different than what
Yeah.
these guys are.
Yeah.
They do everything the same the
Mhm.
way we do. It's just that the upbringing was the situations and what they were exposed
Mhm.
to in their
Yeah.
day-to-day life. I mean, if you read
Yeah.
any about them or you listen to anything, they just it's all about the mindset. It's just
It really
how
is.
their
Yeah.
mindset was. And if we start early on, the mindset uh, makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And something that I did in my classroom to support the kids' confidence all the time was, and I think a lot of people find it silly, but it's like a lot of affirmations, like the kids saying it out loud to themselves,
I
like those
know.
affirmations with themselves. I would do it every morning during our circle time. We would sit there before circle time started. We sang our circle time, our morning song, and we did like three affirmations of the day. And so our affirmations would be like, I'm strong, I'm smart, and I'm kind. And we would say those things out loud to ourselves. We would say it to our partners, and then we would say it out loud one more time, and then we would get our day started. And I think sometimes like some people think those things are silly or unnecessary, but it really stays with them being able to say those things about themselves. I don't think like a lot of us don't every day go out and say, I am strong, I am kind, I am capable. And the kids saying it to themselves, they know it and they believe it. So that would help the confidence throughout the day. And if we would be doing an activity where they were like cutting, and some of the kids are like, I can't cut. And I'm like, you can, because today you said you were strong, today you said you were confident, and today you said that you were capable. So let's put that into practice and let's try to cut. And then they would try. So affirmations are also super powerful that I continue to
I
use even in my kindergarten classroom right now.
Absolutely, I have been
Yeah.
using it. Nandini made a
Mhm.
TikTok video on affirmations.
Oh really?
Yes, Nandini has
Oh
made a TikTok video on affirmations that I do my
yeah.
affirmations every day.
Yeah.
Yes, I
So good for
absolutely
them.
believe in it. The brain, whatever we tell, takes it, receives
Mhm.
it. The more positive things we tell the brain, the more positive it's going to respond. That's
Yep.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that we'll be talking about affirmations today, but hey, I can have
Yeah.
a whole episode on affirmations.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, what would be if there are three things that you had to share, about um, just in general about child development? What would it be? It just, you know, that would help someone. How about that? That would help a parent, a new parent. It doesn't have to be for the child, but in general,
Yeah.
that hey, these are the three most important things that you absolutely must consider
Yeah.
if you have a baby on the way, or a newborn baby, or a toddler, or
Yeah.
I think after a certain age, it's tricky to incorporate these things,
Mhm.
because it's really, because once they set in in like Aviraj is 8, he's kind of set now. His
Yeah.
foundation is laid out, and I'm kind of very happy about it. I took
Yeah.
some time off and took really focused on these formative years, and to lay that strong foundation, which I'm really
Yeah.
very proud of. So I actually don't have to worry too much now, and I really want to empower and provide those tools to other parents, that how
Mhm.
much uh, um, ever this parenting thing is overwhelming, which it is. I mean, if
Yeah.
anybody's saying it's not, no, it is overwhelming, you know.
Mhm.
And that to really, if we put in that effort early on, you're as they grow older, things will get easier for you.
Yeah.
So I just, it's all about if there is any tool that you could want to share or
Yeah.
anything, that just the three golden nuggets that you could share.
Mhm. I think the top three would be maybe number one, to just allow the kids to discover. Like at whatever age they're at, just allow them to discover, allow them to be curious, and don't like condemn the curiosity. Sometimes kids are like getting into things and you're like, no, don't do that. Don't,
Yeah.
you don't want them to get into trouble, or what's already going to happen, right? You know that the kids are going to go into a closet and maybe smash their finger. So instead of saying don't do that, maybe pull them aside. Hey, we don't want to do that. Because this and this can happen. Like teaching them, and not just like instantly, like the impatientness I think sometimes kicks in, even as a teacher. Like, you have 24 kids and you don't want anything to happen to them, and you want them to be safe. And I can't imagine as a parent we want them to be even more safe, and all that. So I would just say, just nurture the curiosity. Like be with them, guide them through their curiosity in a safe way and in a fun way, so that they can learn and discover things on their own. It's so special when they make those moments their own, and they're like, I saw this, or I discovered this, I
Yeah.
found this out. So making those moments like their own. um Another one I think I would say is, just as a parent, like something I would tell a lot of the parents that I've interacted with is, like, don't be afraid to ask questions if you're not sure about something. I'm not a parent, but I've been around kids for years and years and years, and I've seen patterns, and I've seen trends, and I have probably have like something that can help you. Like if your kid is struggling with something, I probably have a tool that can help you. Like don't be afraid to ask questions, and not just to like teachers, but to your doctors and to your, like, anyone
Right.
that you come across. Don't be afraid to ask questions. We're all here to help. And especially as like first time parents, a lot of the times, like, you're just going, you don't really know what's about to happen. You don't know what's like the next stage. And whereas like teachers, we've seen the kids grow from like ages 4 to 5, or we've seen them grow from 2 to 3, and we've seen so many patterns. So we can help. And so I would say, just also don't be afraid to ask questions. I love helping parents. I love help, like being a tool. So yeah,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to ask questions ever. And then the last one, just kind of to tie in with everything that I was saying, like, kids are capable. Kids are capable. Just remember, kids are capable and they can, and giving them the opportunity to show their capabilities, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your
Yeah. Thank
insights.
you.
I really appreciate your time. And I hope to circle back again in maybe a few
Mhm.
weeks and we can have another episode of this.
Yeah.
And we wish you all the best. And I look
Thank you
forward
so
to
much.
speaking with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you. Thank you
Jenny.
for
Take
having
care.
me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.